When I had courage enough to make friends, they'll tell me beautiful stories of how boys asked them out, of how boys were sending them nice notes. I never received none of that. I remember when I first joined college, we'd go to parties, all my friends would get asked out. I'll be left there feeling stupid and ugly, and I accepted that. We'd be walking with my friends, a man comes, greets all of them, and then when he reaches me, ananipita. Well, it's one thing to be rejected, but it's another thing to be shown madharau. That hurt deep. I felt like someone was cutting the insides of me with a knife. So forgive me if I am protective of this heart. It has been so hard. I grew up thinking I was the ugliest girl that ever existed. Every time I walked with my friends, that came up so much. Like they get chosen all the time, and it would be made sure I was the only one left. Oh, I felt terrible. I felt so terrible. I had to come to terms with the fact that I'm ugly. I accepted that. And I saw how else can I survive this earth with my ugliness. And a friend of mine introduced me to makeup. I like to make up. I do apply makeup once in a while. But I still get rejected all the time. So makeup is for me. I've been deprived of attention so much. No matter what I do, no matter what I wear, no matter what I apply, I rarely get a shout out. I rarely get attention. So I got used to not getting attention. So even coming out of the house, I look nikiangalia hapa and I'm satisfied with what I see. Hata ukishinda ukiniambia either I don't look good or I look good, it doesn't affect me. I learned to only trust what I see in the mirror. I do not depend on compliments at all. I waited for compliments as a young girl. I got none. All I had were my sisters being praised. All I had was when I somehow made friends and I introduced them to my sisters, they'd start asking so much about my sisters, and I'm like, what the hell? Who are you interested in? So I always felt like I was not made for men. So I stopped trying to impress. I stopped trying for men to ask me out. I stopped trying. I don't expect anything from a man. I became independent in the terms that I can do anything around the house. And actually, I can tell myself good night. I can buy myself things and feel nice. So when I'm sad, I just buy things. So I grew up when I'm 30 years old and I still feel like a man is the last thing on my mind. I'll not lose my mind trying to impress anyone. You either like me or you don't. I've been hurt so much to let anyone. I see even the slightest sign that you have the possibility of hurting me based on how I look. I'm gone, baby. I'm so gone so fast. I've been hurt. It is so painful. I don't know. I started liking my image. It was a torturous process to just look myself in the mirror. All I saw was a bad face, a terrible looking girl, an ugly duckling. It has taken me so much work to just look in this place and be comfortable with what I see. So understand me when I'm protective of my peace. Understand me when I don't take no shit. just understand me. So I buried myself in books. At least they got recognition. As I would come when I got to first position, second position, that position, and you'd get recognized. This made me feel like, ooh, education makes me get attention. So I concentrated. I put all my energy into books. I read everything I could come across. I have a wide knowledge of things. I would hear, sometimes in school, I would hear a person just say, I can never be friends with an ugly person. Damn, that shit hurt. I'm just in my business, not even caring. Then you hear that shit. I'm just a person who has been hurt over and over again based on how I look. But I got over it. I still went over and beyond and made some friends. I can confirm to you that I have friends. I have very beautiful friends. I appreciate what I don't have. So I like hanging out with people who look good. And I was told that good-looking people, there are so many stereotyping. Good-looking people are damned. Good-looking people are prideful. I have met people who are beautiful inside and out. And it was satisfying. So forgive me if I don't find getting attention from a man flattering. When I needed it the most, I didn't get it. So at the moment, it feels like nothing. I don't value it. I didn't expect even to get it, so I'm surprised. Like, even when someone shows interest, I'm like, oh, are you sure? Are you sure you have looked well? Are you sure you're seeing what you're... I have so much disbelief when someone says they're interested in me. And some I reject because I was hurt based on how I look. So sometimes I have learned to over criticize myself. So I find that I judge some people with the same judgments based on how they look. I am trying to get over this, but well, every reaction has an equal measure of I don't know, that was physics. Action and reaction. I guess I'm sick of that. So I'm just out here looking for beautiful things. I love beautiful places. I love things that look good. And things that I don't consider looking good, I don't give much attention to it. You can't blame me. Good things are loved by everyone. I don't think that is only me. It was not a big deal. So understand, when my education doesn't pay off, I get depressed. And it hasn't paid off. I did extremely well in my studies. I was not joking. So I'm one person who thought I would be shining. I'll get a good job. Well, life has disappointed me greatly. So I keep wondering, if I was not given the looks, what I'm good at doesn't help me. So what am I doing here? The relationship between my image and how I have handled life is very significant to me. When I started being aware of myself, I joined primary and stuff. I remember one day we'd be playing with my friends, and girls, tiny girls, they're cheeky. So they would call me aside, and I thought they were telling me something nice. And I remember one time I had a haircut, and they started giggling and saying, "Oh, who gave you that haircut? You look like a man." That's why my issues with my self-image started. I started feeling ugly. I stopped playing that much. I felt like I was being attacked so much on my looks. I drew back. I got isolated. So when people would go to breaks, I'll be in class trying to read something. It felt so much better. and safe. Because I don't know if anybody has come to your face and just called you ugly straight up. That shit hurt. So I'm a hurt person deeply. So at 30, I'm still struggling to come to terms, accept my image, and run life the way it should be run. I remember another time I was just minding my business. Now I have learned how to mind my business. I'm afraid of girls because anytime they start talking, maybe they attack my image, and I'm not. It hurt. I was protecting myself from the hurt. So one day another girl comes and says, "Have you ever noticed something?" And I'm like, "What?" "Do you know you're not as beautiful as your sister?" So I have a big sister and she's beautiful, yes. But I had not given that much thought. I was just a kid playing, trying to understand life, going through life like everybody else. But this was brought to my attention so vigorously, so many times, not asked for. It was forced down my throat. So I started considering it. So I'd go back home, look at my sister, look at all the photos, do all the analyzing. So I think that is where over criticizing myself started. I'll criticize the way my teeth look. I'll criticize the way my face looks. I'll criticize my forehead. This one I'm told so many times. Every single thing is criticized. So you can see me out there looking maybe the way you think I look, but deep down I am not so confident. I got rejected based on my look so much. It hurt until it stopped hurting. I learned to do other things. So I got quiet. I regressed. So I noticed I became a good observer and analyzer. So I'm a good analyzer. I have great attention to details. I can look at you like this, know already what you're up to. I'm a good observer. I'm very keen. And also, all this was being done. Also, I'm very careful. I listen to how you talk. I see how you're coming at me. Having been hurt over and over and over and over again based on my looks. So I'm very protective of people who are trying to come at me like that. And also, since I was not getting any attention from boys, I learned not to expect it. It was less painful. So I was like, that is not for me. So yeah. And that's hurt well with me. So trying to undo that now has been difficult because also when I get into relationship is usually to prove a point to myself. Like I look at someone and think, I can get all that. Wow. And I was called ugly. I'm doing well. So it's usually for proving something to myself other than what a relationship is meant for. And this is me opening up about my struggles with my self-image. I'm opening up. First, I'll tell you a thing or two of how maybe I have learned to cope. Hopefully this will help another person who feels like they have self-image issues. And I've realized I'm not the only one. Yes, so many. Everybody feels insecure about something about their face. But sometimes I feel like I got that so much. Yeah, I got that so much. People, I don't know. I was attacked anyhow. I told you how my friends would get picked. I remember this one time we were walking with my friend. It is in the dark, it is at night. And a man calls out, I went to uni in Mombasa, and anyone who is from around there knows the touts around there. They are loud, and they usually have a lot of things to say. So they were calling, and we are as girls, Maringo Nini. It was at night, not total darkness. Then he says, no, I'm not even calling you, I'm calling the other one. And he made it specific, he was calling my friend. So, no, I imagine, even in the dark, people are saying I'm that ugly, I must be ugly. I believed I ugliest girl that ever survived. So all my efforts right now is trying to undo that, because